Pro players are using these 9 class setups in Modern Warfare 3, and you should too. Class number 1 is Scump's MCW. And I got timed out of the lobby. Class number 1 is Scump's MCW. He uses the 16.5 MW Cyclone long barrel for bullet velocity and range. For the muzzle, we'll scroll down to the L4 flash hider for recoil control and gun kick control. Going to the underbarrel, we're going to use the X10 Phantom 5 hand stop. For the underbarrel, we're going to use the X10 TX12 hand stop. For ammunition, we're going to scroll down to 5.56 high velocity for increased bullet velocity, and then to top it all off, we'll put on a slate reflector. Now, as we get into class number 2, if you want to stay up to date on the current meta, be sure to subscribe down below. I'll continue to update my channel with videos like these to keep everybody up to date on the current class setups. And class number 2 is going to be Cellium's MCW. We're going to use the same barrel from earlier, the 16.5 Cyclone, again for that bullet velocity and range. However, we're going to make changes on the muzzle, where we'll go down to the T4LR Saber compensator for a crazy buff in horizontal recoil control. No underbarrel, no ammunition, no magazine, but we'll go over here to the rear grip, where we will choose the claw grip. Basically, the goal is this gun does not move at all. For the stock, we'll go over here to the RB Regal Heavy stock. And the optic, this is very important. I know Scump was using the slate reflector in the last one, but from the rumors that I've heard about how optics work in this game, you're going to want to choose the Mark III reflector. Not only is there less obstruction with this optic, but it removes a lot of the visual recoil that's pretty prominent with the typical slate reflector. I'll hide my camera so y'all can screenshot. And let's get into class number 3 is Dashy's Holger 5.56. If you play wagers or competitive, this gun is actually so good at starting to get banned, so make sure in your rules that it's not banned before pulling this out. But when you guys use this class, you'll see why it's getting banned. We're starting out with no barrel, no muzzle, going straight to the underbarrel, where we'll use the X10 Phantom 5 hand stop. For ammunition, we'll scroll over to high velocity, go over to rear grip, where we use the intruder grip. This helps with the sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. Stock, we're going with the RB Adel assault stock to make the gun beam, of course. And then on Dashy's class, he has the slate reflector. And if you remember what I was talking about earlier, you can go over here and add the Mark III reflector to this class. I don't think it will subtract much at all. If anything, it might help. Just remember, this gun is so good that it's banned. And it's so good that we're going to use it again for class 4, which is Ghosty's version of this gun. Now, Ghosty doesn't use an optic on his Holger, giving us room for a barrel, where he used the Cryo 6 match for bullet velocity and range. For the muzzle, we're going to go to the L4R flash hider that we used earlier. I believe that was Scump's class. Here it is right here for recoil control and gun kick control. For underbarrel, we're going to go to the XRK Edge, just a general mobility underbarrel with limited cons. We will scroll over to rear grip, where we'll choose the Morn grip. This adds flinch resistance and even more recoil control. And then up to the stock, where we'll choose the Ascent Lord stock. I'll hide my camera yet again so that y'all can screenshot again. This is Ghosty's Holger. And for the final time, be careful using this class if you're playing competitive, because it's starting to get banned. And now for class number 5, we have Shotzzy's WSP9, aka the Uzi. And I trust Shotzzy's class setup, even though he's good enough to make any gun look good. We'll try this out anyways. No barrel. For the muzzle, we're going to scroll down to the Bruin Cubic Comp for horizontal and vertical recoil control. For underbarrel, we're going to go to the FTAC MSP, another attachment for a general increase in mobility with limited cons. For the ammunition, we're going to scroll down to the 9mm high velocity. We're going to go to magazine and choose the 32 round mag, just because the base ammunition is a little bit on the lower end. And then we'll go up to stock, where we'll choose the WSP factory stock. And this is Shotzzy's WSP9 screenshot for your own good. And we will move on to class number 6, which is Simp's Striker 9. I already made a video on this gun because I like it that much, so I'm excited to show off Simp's class. For the barrel, we're going to go with the Striker Recon long barrel, again for bullet velocity and range. Going over to the muzzle, we're actually using an MW3 muzzle this time, which is the VP27 mini break. Going over to underbarrel, we're going to use the Chook angled grip, which is here. This adds aiming idle sway and some mobility buffs with limited cons. And I got kicked out again. For the rear grip, we have the FTAC G5XO for aiming idle sway and flinch resistance. And then the final attachment is the stock. We're going to use the Lockman MK2 light stock, again for increased mobility. Get your screenshots here. Again, this is Simp's Striker 9 class. Up next is class number 7, which is Abezy's Rival 9. I'm using the Beta Ripper variant if it looks a little different, but it's still the Rival 9. For the barrel, we're going to go with a Rival 38E Firestarter barrel. This gun shoots so fast that it's all about getting in people's faces, so you want to increase your mobility by choosing this barrel. For the muzzle, we're going to scroll over here to the Purifier muzzle brake to improve that horizontal recoil. If y'all have used this gun, the horizontal recoil is the worst part of it, especially under sustained fire. That's going to be your best option for the muzzle. Going over to underbarrel, we're going to use the DR6 hand stop to increase the mobility. For the rear grip, we're going to choose the Rival Vice Assault grip to work on that gun kick control, and this gun definitely needs it. And last attachment for the stock is going to be the EXF close quarter stock to even further help that gun kick control. For screenshotting purposes, this is Abezy's Rival 9. And for the final two class setups, we're going to get kind of fun with it. Class number 8 is Tupac's katt-amr. For the barrel, we're actually going to choose the short barrel for aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Scrolling down to the ammunition, we're going to use 50 cal high velocity. Going down to rear grip, we will choose the Phantom grip for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed, with limited cons, of course, because it's a sniper rifle and we're not worried about recoil control. For bolt, we're going to choose the quick bolt just to get back in the game faster. And then the stock that we're going to choose is the tactical stock pad, obviously for that aim down sight speed. Here's for your screenshots. And the final class, class number 9, is going to be Equuip's Renetti. This will obviously pair perfectly with that sniper in case you need to use it. Under the barrel, we're going to use the short competition barrel to keep the pistol fast like a pistol should be. Ammunition will scroll over here to the 9mm high velocity. Keep those bullets hitting. Now down to trigger action. We're going to use the Bruin MG89 trigger for an increased fire rate with very limited cons. And then the final attachment, only 4 on this gun for you, will be the Renetti wood grain grip, just for an improved pistol swap. And I figured y'all would want to know what perks, gloves, field upgrades we're using. Currently, it's pretty standard trophy system across the board for the field upgrade. Stun and frag grenade for the lethal and tactical, also pretty standard. When we get into the gloves, you're either going to use the assault gloves or the marksman gloves. The marksman gloves I would definitely use for the sniper and maybe use for a long range AR where you're just going to be posted up and don't want that much flinch. But because movement is incentivized in this game, I've been liking the assault gloves just so that you can still chow across the map. You're not penalized for jumping. So I've leaned more towards the side of assault gloves, except on, of course, the sniper class. Covert sneakers to stay quiet. This is going to stay pretty standard, especially for search and destroy. When we get into ranked play classes later on in the season, we might mess around with other classes. But like I said, stay tuned to this channel for updates on the perks when that time comes. And then the gear, we are rocking the EOD padding. Nades are extremely powerful even with EOD, so you're gonna want to have this just to make sure you're extra protected. And there you have it, the 9 class setups that pros are using so far in MW3. I hope you enjoyed, have fun in the games, and I'll catch you next time at lunchtime.